when you came here and you thought about these reasons of why you chose USC, and when you got here, did you find that it was true? What did you find that you weren't expecting? And what did you find that was a like, oh my God, I didn't even know about this place. And when did you discover that? Because I think the reason I'm getting at this is uh, and so again, a very loaded question. I often talk to first year students and let them know like how much first year sucks. Like first year is the worst year of college. And I don't think anyone ever tells you that because you spend so much time in high school building up what college is going to be. And then you get here and it's not all of that, but it is some of that. And it's also a lot of hard work and there's a lot of transition, there's a lot of struggle. And what I think a lot of people don't ever tell anybody is that over the course of 4 years, your first year is your worst year, and it kind of keeps better as you keep going on. And everyone talks about college being the best 4 years of your life, but they don't ever talk about how the first year is the worst of those years. And so, as you got here, what was what was good about it? Where did you find some struggle? How did you resolve from that struggle? And when you look back on it now, was that struggle important to who you've become today?
Well, I
Anyone?
kind of want to say what you said first about like my first like the first impressions of being here and something different. I don't know if you'll remember this because it was very probably insignificant, but actually the first time I met you, Paul, in person, I went up to you after something during that orientation week, some one of the
Sure.
keynote things, and I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you. My name is Mitch," and you just looked at me and said, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, I was serious or not, I was like, "Well, this place is kind of small. What do you mean you know who I am? There's like a lot of us here." And I think that's really wrong true. I mean, this place is pretty small, like especially in Viterbi. And I thought that was quite wild because it's kind of a big place.
Well, yeah, remember I told you you were the one.
Yeah. I mean, now I know the context behind why you knew. Took 4 years to
Oh,
figure out.
here's this guy.
I think one thing that I didn't really anticipate coming into college was how many things I didn't already, like how many kinds of different opportunities I didn't already know about. So for example, I said I was waffling between journalism and engineering. And so one thing that I had really considered doing when I was looking at applying to USC was doing like a minor in the journalism school. Obviously in my intro, people know I did not end up doing that. And part of it, I think, I've done for many other activities where it was like I had this idea of it in my head, but then I found out about something else I would rather do, which is like pursue my master's. And um, I didn't know it'd be possible to fit it into this time frame. And I really don't like going to school. That's the reason I tried to do it so fast. I was like, I want to be done as fast as possible. And so when the choice came down to that, I was like, oh, every single thing that I thought about doing, I have to decide whether or not it's a priority that I want to pursue and the benefits that come with that. And at the end of the day, I decided to not pursue my minor in order to pursue my master's. And so many other activities I've decided to forego and instead pursue something else. And I think when I was in high school, I didn't have such an open mind of all the different possibilities that there could be and things like that I could do. And so I think that was a big adjustment for me when I first came here and learning how to say no when I wanted to do something else instead.
I'll take the like second half of Paul's like question statement with the first year. I think that yeah, coming from like such a small town, I was like, oh wow, like bright-eyed. Same thing, like hop off that plane at LAX and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like this is literally like this is unrecognizable from like small town Connecticut. And I was so excited. And I like the excitement remained, but I think like homesickness started to creep in like that first year. You're kind of living on your own. And, after a long day, like you get back from maybe like a late class that gets out at like 10 and I'm like 17 years old and all I want to do is like call my mom, but you can't because the time difference and all of a sudden it's like 2 a.m. in Connecticut. So
Yeah.
that was definitely something that I like struggled with my freshman year as a whole. And then a lot of my other friends, they kind of stayed in state, like in the area. I think I was the only one that went to plane right away. Again, I came from a very small high school. I think I was the only one that went to plane right away. And so all of them were like coming up with plans because they were also homesick. They're like, okay, like 3 weeks in, they're like, okay, let's meet back at like Town Green or downtown. And that was just not something I could do. I didn't go home for Thanksgiving. And all of them were like, oh, let's do like a Friendsgiving. So that was, I think, being far away from home while a lot of like my people at the time were home was definitely a struggle. But I ended up finding my people here. My roommate like took me to her house for Thanksgiving. Her dad like sometimes calls me more than my own dad. He'll like get me chocolates before my exam. Like he's like they've definitely become my LA family for sure. He calls me his East Coast daughter. But I think finding your people takes some time. And so freshman year, you can't just come in and like automatically find your people. So just like that whole process of like finding yourself, finding your people, finding things that you enjoy, things that you didn't know existed. Like there's clubs that I was like, they're doing what? I declared my minor in cinema my spring of my freshman year because I took a cinematic arts class, and I've always enjoyed film, and I think it's a great way to express yourself. But I found that I kind of wanted to take those classes and declared that minor, which was really beneficial. I've loved taking cinema classes over my past 4 years. But yeah, that first year definitely was a struggle. I know there's some people that like are look back on their freshman year like fondly and they just really like it. But for me, for sure, that first year was definitely the hardest, that adjustment kind of coming here.
Yeah. Um, it I think it's a lot like high school. I mean, like people don't look, I don't think a lot of people look back on the freshman year of high school fondly.
Yeah, I doubt it. I can't remember, honestly.
Well, it's like as if you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was like my transition year. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that was my like I'm figuring this stuff out. And I think that a lot of people believe that when you leave high school, you're done with transition years. And this is my I guess my next bit of advice to you guys is I want you to remember that because you're about to head into your next transition set of years. And it is weird.